Hi students! Today we're going to be solving multi-step equations using the distributive property. And if you can recall from one of our earlier lessons, we use the distributive property when we have these parentheses. So that's the first thing we want to do is we want to get rid of those parentheses. So we need to, let me get a color here, different color. So we want to make sure that we distribute the 2 with the 3x and then the 2 again with the 8. That's our first step. So let's do that. We have 2 times 3 is 6. Let's add the x plus 2 times 8 is 16, so that comes right down. And then bring down the equal sign and bring down the 34. Then the next step is, well, we want to isolate that variable. We want it by itself because we want to know what number it represents. So what we can get rid of next is this 16, this positive 16. The way that we get rid of it is by doing the inverse. So the inverse of positive 16 is a negative 16. We're going to use the subtractive property of equality, which means that whatever we do to one side, we're going to do it to the other side. And in this case, it's subtraction. So that's why it's called the subtractive property of equality. These are going to cancel out because a positive 16 and a negative 16 is a 0. We do not need to write that. And here we are left with the 6x. And then 34 minus 16 is 18. Okay, let's see. I don't want to run out of time here. Then we want to, again, we need to isolate that variable. So these two, the 6 and the x together, means that that is being multiplied. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to use the division property of equality. We're going to divide 6 by either side. These 6's are going to cancel out. And then we are left with x equals 3. So this one that we have here, it's 3. And then in parentheses, x plus 12 minus x equals 8. I already drew the arrows of what I need to do next, which is distribute the 3 with the with what's inside the parentheses. So let's start bringing stuff down. So we have here 3 times x is 3x plus 3 times 12 is 36. So we write that plus 36, and then we have a minus x equals 8. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is combine like terms. Remember, we need to combine like terms because we want to isolate, but we also want to bring things down in its simplest forms. So we have the two terms that we have there that we can combine, that they are like terms, is this 3x and this negative x. And if we have a 3x minus negative x, it's going to give us a 2x, because when a variable is by itself, we know that there is an invisible 1 next to it. So a 3 minus 1 is a 2. So I'm bringing down my x with that because the x is there. Then we're just going to bring down that 36 because we're not doing anything with it just yet. And then my equal sign and 8. I just like to bring everything down. It makes it all much easier because I can see the progression of how I'm solving the problem. Now we want to isolate the variables. So let's Let's use our the inverse of 36. So we're going to use the subtractive property of equality. We're going to subtract 36 from either side. So we have a 36 there and a 36 on this side. Let me move that a little bit so it doesn't seem like they're both on the same side. And now let me use the drawing. And let me do my line down here. And these are going to cancel out because a positive 36 and a negative 36 is a 0. I'm bringing down my 2x. I haven't done anything with it just yet. And then on this side, we are we get a negative 28. Oops, we're almost there, but I'm gonna run out of space here. We still want to look at my x there. We want to get that x by itself, so we're gonna use the inverse. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I got my more space right here. So I'm gonna do the inverse. So this is gonna give me this is going to give me a 2 over here because I'm doing the inverse of multiplication. So I'm going to divide it by either side. I'm going to divide it by 2. So these two cancel out. So I am left with x equals is going to be a negative because a negative divided by a positive is going to give me a negative. And then this is a 28 divided by 2 is a 16. So x equals negative 16. Okay, now I hope you have fun solving your problems.